How's it going, everyone? This is Scott McKay from XMY Communications coming at you again with another audio program. Today I have a new friend of mine who I had the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with in lovely and temperate Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. His name is Dr. Steve G. Jones. He is a clinical hypnotherapist, probably one of the most famous, one of the most well-known of his type in the world, really. So I'm very excited to introduce him to you. As you may know, I haven't always been a big fan of talking about things like hypnosis and NLP with you guys because, I'm a Texan. I come from places where we just drink beer, drive pickup trucks, and talk in plain English. But more and more lately, I've come personally to the conclusion that, knowing how the mind works and knowing how to engineer your social interactions is really an incredible skill that we should all learn. Not so that we can go trick and manipulate people so much as so we can understand each other's needs and wants and know how to portray ourselves as the most attractive people we can be. So with that in mind, Dr. Steve, man, welcome.
Oh, thanks, Scott. Good to be here.
It's good to have you. I found out very quickly that despite your auspicious and mysterious line of work, you're a pretty normal guy, dude.
Yeah, I'm just an average Joe, or an average Steve in my case.
Well, I think that leads to the first question, which is, if you're this normal guy, and yet you're something as woohoo as something as kind of woohoo and out there as a clinical hypnotherapist in the minds of most people, I think the first question we should ask is really, what is hypnosis and how does it work? Tell us the truth.
Well, hypnosis is just a relaxed state of mind, and we really don't know fully why it works. I mean, I'm speaking as someone with a bachelor's degree in education, in psychology rather, a master's in education, and a doctorate in education, and I've studied at Harvard, and I can still say, after all that education, we still don't know exactly why hypnosis works, but the mechanism by which it works is just relaxing you into a calm state of mind. Like when you're reading a book or watching TV or riding a bicycle, when you don't really have to focus on what you're doing. It's just something that you're able to do pretty easily. So you can block out everything else that's going on and work on whatever it is you're working on, and you don't need to use a lot of brain power during that time. You get into a state we call alpha. And during that time that you're in that state, it turns out that you're very suggestible. And we go in and out of that state all day long, naturally. So the only difference between that and a hypnosis session are two things. Number one, in a hypnosis session, I'm causing someone to go into hypnosis by using relaxing words. And number two, during a hypnosis session, I'm putting positive thoughts in their minds. But aside from those two differences, you go in and out of hypnosis every day of your life, all day long.
An example that's kind of coming to mind of what you might be talking about is when you're driving at night on a long, straight road and you sort of feel your eyelids getting heavy.
Absolutely.
But when you get home and you turn on the TV, suddenly you're not tired anymore.
Right. You start to zone out a little bit. Some people go too deeply. They can actually fall asleep while driving. But even if you don't, even if you think you're aware of what's going on, but you're zoned out a little bit, as we say, if you get to the end of the drive and you don't remember the drive, you think, how did I get here? I don't remember the in-between part. That's a pretty good indication that you're in a hypnotic state. So it's kind of deceiving. You can be in hypnosis without even realizing it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, some people, they use hypnosis to lose weight or stop smoking.
Right.
How does hypnosis theoretically help us as guys to do better with women? How does it help us in our dating world?
Well, one of the ways it really helps is by working on us. And, I had to use some of this on myself when I was on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker as one of the millionaires being set up with a bunch of lovely ladies. You may think, well, that's a slam dunk. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. You go on a show as a millionaire in a dating show. But really, I had to impress them somewhat. I had to, be a guy who's worthy of dating. And the best way to do that, the best way to work on that is to work on yourself, work on your confidence, your motivation. The way others perceive you is the way you perceive yourself. So when you can up that, when you can increase the way that, on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say, the way you perceive yourself, make that better, then you are perceived as being more confident.
You were on Millionaire Matchmaker.
Yes.
How'd that work out? Did you meet a great woman?
I met a woman. As it turns out, we didn't click, not because of any lack of confidence or anything like that on my part, but I wasn't quite what she was looking for. She had a specific list of things, and it had nothing to do with any of my actions or anything. I just wasn't exactly what she was looking for, and but it was a great experience. Since then, Patty Stanger and I have become good friends, and we're working on projects together. And so overall, it was a plus.
Yeah, it's hard to solve world peace in the context of a 30-minute TV show. Can you share some black and white, real world conversational hypnosis techniques that these guys, and maybe me too, can start using right now?
Sure, and I'll just start with the basics because the basics are easy to remember and they're easy to use. And as I've said, it's all about you. How you perceive yourself is going to come across and how others perceive you. So one of the easiest tools to use and learn is anchoring. And all you have to do to install an anchor for confidence is think of a time when you were confident. And some people say, well, it's hard for me to think of a time when I was confident because that's my whole challenge, confidence. But I'm talking about a time when you just felt good about yourself. Maybe you just did something for someone and that made you feel good about yourself. Confidence doesn't mean that you feel like the king of the world. It means that you're calm inside and you're okay with yourself. So think of a time when you felt like that, just that good feeling. And then intensify it. Remember that time, make the sights, the sounds, the smells, tastes, if there were any associated with that moment, intensify. Crank them up to a level 10. On 1 to 10, crank them up to a level 10. In other words, you see the memory very clearly, whatever there was to see. You hear things that are related to that memory very clearly. And you taste things. If you're eating something, you taste it very clearly. If you're wearing something or the temperature was a certain way, you're feeling that on your body at a level 10. And then all you have to do is make the OK sign with your right hand, touching the tip of your right index finger to the tip of your right thumb, and say the word confident. What that does is it allows you to get into that peak state, first of all, by remembering everything, intensifying it, and then you've created an anchor. And just like Pavlov with his dogs, creating an association between ringing a bell and salivation, you've created an anchor between making that OK sign, saying the word confident, and you being confident. So the next time you're in a dating situation, you need confidence, all you have to do is fire it off, meaning make the OK sign with your right hand and say the word confident. You will immediately it'll act like a bridge to the past. You'll have those feelings of calmness and confidence that you had during that memory that you just recalled.
Okay, so let's apply that to dating skills specifically. I'm imagining, first of all, that if you anchor contextually with dating or even sex in mind, then you're going to be able to give yourself more confidence if you're on a date with a woman and you just made her laugh and giggle and she was adoring you and just couldn't wait to kiss you by the time the date was over and was asking you when you'd get together again, that would be a great way to anchor dating confidence specifically, right?
Yes, if you can make it context specific, as you mentioned, that is more powerful. It's not necessary, and some people don't have that context to work with, and that's why they're working on dating skills in the first place. But if you have that memory, if that has happened for you or to you, then yes, definitely use that. It will be more powerful than just general feelings of goodness.
How can guys use self-hypnosis to improve their dating skills even further?
Well, self-hypnosis is very powerful. First of all, I use it on myself, and you have to make a recording for yourself. In other words, if you just say, I'm going deeper now into hypnosis, deeper and deeper, you may just fall asleep. And then the hypnotist just falls asleep. If you fall asleep during a hypnosis session and someone other than you is doing it, that's fine because your brain still stays receptive. But if you're the hypnotist and the patient and you fall asleep, then you're not going to be hypnotizing yourself anymore. So bottom line, make a recording for yourself. All you have to do is spend about 10 minutes in the recording talking about a relaxing scenario. Walk along the beach, a walk in the woods, what have you. Involve all the senses, sight, sound, smell, taste, everything you can involve that makes sense in that scenario. Then intensify it, count from 10 to 1, and lower yourself down more into hypnosis. Just tell yourself, I'm going lower into hypnosis now as the sun sets or as I walk down a mountain or whatever is context specific to the induction. So again, we have a 10-minute induction, just a walk along the beach or a walk in the woods or something along those lines. A brief deepening in which we're counting from 10 to 1 as something is going down, such as the sun or us going down a hill. And then we have the script. That's where you put all the things that you want to work on. State them in the present, state them as if they've already happened, and your subconscious mind will find a way to make them real. In other words, I am an exciting person. I am very motivated to get out there and meet women. I am, etc., etc. Put all of those positive suggestions in there for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then after that, just bring yourself out of the hypnosis session. You can, if you want to use it during the day, you can just count yourself up from 1 to 3. If you want to use it at night, just tell yourself you're going to sleep afterwards. And one little trick you can add in there is what we call amnesia. Right after the script and before transtermination, before you bring yourself up or tell yourself to go to sleep for the night, you can say that you may find it difficult to remember some or all of the things on the recording, and that's okay because they're for your subconscious mind. This is called amnesia. It scrambles the access that you would have consciously to the memories, and it enables you to get away from analyzing everything after the hypnosis session and allowing your subconscious mind to process them more easily.
So basically, you're saying it isn't so hard to create this audio, and I would assume you record it and put it on your iPod so you can listen to it over and over.
Right.
It sounds really complicated. In other words, the process that's happening sounds so deep and so scientific, but really it's as simple as just designing this audio the way you just suggested, and it will work in this mentally complicated way.
Absolutely. And again, it's 5 parts: induction, deepening, script, amnesia, and transtermination. And yeah, it's very straightforward, and you can make them for yourself all the time and use them for about 3 weeks in a row. At night as you go to sleep is when I recommend it. And tell yourself you'll go to sleep at the end and wake up in the morning, of course, and which you would normally do anyway. You won't fall into a coma or anything. And yes, they're very easy to make and very easy to use.
Sounds almost like Stephen Covey's blueprint for making guiding, in the sense, Stephen Covey's blueprint for making guiding principles, in the sense that they're present tense. I am a man of character. I am a man who treats women well, instead of saying, gee, I'd love to be this guy someday. You speak those truths to yourself as if they're reality now, and that makes them more likely to be reality because you're focused on them and they're more part of your conscious mind, right? And your unconscious mind.
Yes, and your subconscious mind takes that in, accepts it as truth, because your subconscious mind is like a computer program, and then it says, wait a minute, there's a disconnect here, because even though this is truth, I don't see it in the everyday life. I don't see it in my life. So your subconscious mind looks for ways to make it happen. So it starts having you take action that you're not even aware of why you're doing it exactly, but you're almost on this autopilot because your subconscious mind is working hard to bridge the gap between what it knows to be reality and what it sees to be reality.
So anything that wouldn't be congruent in that, in your regular everyday world, would sort of create this pattern interrupt where you're like, no, that's not right. I need to get this back turned around so it's correct and right in what I really believe in, whether you're consciously feeling that or not, right?
Exactly. And for example, to put it into brass tacks, if you tell yourself, I have the woman of my dreams, and your subconscious mind accepts that as reality, but you see that it's not there, your subconscious mind will bridge that gap as soon as possible by going after the woman of your dreams. So a woman of your dreams who may walk by and visually appear to be the woman of your dreams, in the past you may have just said, no, okay, that's a woman walking by. Now your subconscious mind is programmed for you to take action. You're going to approach her. You're going to go up to her. You're going to do everything you can to bring her into your life to make her the woman of your dreams, because your subconscious mind wants to get rid of this disconnect.
So that's the power of using hypnosis to attract certain women into your life.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Guys, we're running out of time here, but if you want to learn more about Dr. Steve G. Jones and what he's all about, you can already tell he's a pretty smart cookie. I've set up a special URL for you, and that's www.deservewhatyouvant.com/Steve G. STEVEG. Dr. Steve, thanks a million for joining us. This has been fascinating.
Anytime, Scott. Thank you.